Yeah, he's on Akuma here, epic crossover for Val, so we got Gauntlets and Sword coming through. And he left Demon Island open, which I think is Flamethrower's favorite stage. I looked at this and I was like, I know Flamethrower's not a great Sword player, he's not a Lance player, but he certainly likes the runway. He likes the flat stage, he likes being able to pressure people that are on the ground. It's one of those rare cases where I see a player and go like, oh, they like it when someone tries to hold center.
Yes.
And because he's able to pick apart the defenses there.
That's
and
all
then
bow
just
players, man.
And then just throw out a side sig, and there you go. You got yourself a win.
They're just like, I feel like there's an extra bone that bow players are born with, and it's the spacing on downlight.
Yeah.
and
the hardest part about downlight is that, like, I think optimally the right thing to do is to spot dodge it. And it's just so hard to do, and also kind of risky.
Yeah, you're not going to spot dodge it on reaction.
Yeah, you've got to be really ready for it.
And so then it becomes like you just got to kind of know.
Dude, Flamethrower, these down sigs in center. All right, I'm enjoying seeing that. It's a new style that's been getting a lot of success now against two different players.
Especially with none of the players that Flamethrower has gone up against have been like rocking spear. You know, and so like it makes bow and sig much more of a safe option just because you're not scared of getting hit by D-Light for whipping it.
Oh, and side sig. I mean, that's what we were talking about just a few seconds ago. It was just like, okay, we got all this chip away damage, and then you just put out a side sig, and that gets the connection. And now Flamethrower. Oh, right. Unfortunate. I wonder if Flamethrower meant to dodge. And Mevv just had a great punish on that whip side light. Whatever the case was there, evens it up very quickly. It neutralizes the wrong way, but not too much damage there. Weapon spawn, Odin blessing him. With him just being in the air in the right moment. And now Sidelight comes through, tries to fall with that recovery. Second recovery does hit. Can Flamethrower make it down? Of course he can. So good with those stairs.
Oh, nice. Let's pick up here.
He's trying to punish the Gauntlet Sidelights with bow neutral signature. Sarah off stage, dodges in place, tries to catch him. I wonder if he was trying to catch him, like, recovering through him. Down sig. They both like just jump, make a full circle around each other with like Gauntlet Sidelight and bow down sig, dodging around each other. Really close game one.
Yeah, no, insanely close here. Flamethrower maintaining that center stage, but gives it up right here, gives Mevv a chance. Mevv uses it to get a side air, force Flamethrower to the corner, aggressive fight back down to the stage, and reads that Mevv isn't going to dodge.
Oh, I can't believe that spot dodge lasted long enough. I guess it avoided the splash on the ground.
Oh.
Side sig for side sig. Mevv barely surviving. That defense stance coming through, and Flamethrower doesn't jump with that nair. Ends up missing the edge guard there. Mevv has a chance. Oh.
I like it. Tries to catch the landing there. It's unarmed. You're not going to take too much damage for it. Wow, that was extremely aggressive.
Yeah.
To just immediately dash lands on the corner of the stage into D-Light.
Yeah, really called Flamethrower out, and Flamethrower managed to survive. That's like, I had to be reminded that to be in this stance means that you were playing for Force Val, right? So that D-Light recovery not knocking out is like, actually, that does make sense. Flamethrower holding on a little bit longer. He wants at least one hit.
Wow.
Can't believe the nair missed. I could have felt a double end light coming out there, but Mevv doesn't land in it. There's
nice.
One end light. Gravity cancel D-Light dodged and then punished in the same breath.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Like, you got to know. and then when you know that it's coming.
It's really good when you do spot dodge it. But it's really hard to do, and that's what makes it so frustrating to fight against.
Yeah, especially like I feel like optimally you want to be able to like gravity cancel spot dodge on it, right? If you're on just like grounded, your options feel a lot more limited in terms of what you can do to get like maximum punish for it.
Mm-hmm. Sidelight goes through, downlight whiffs. Flamethrower starting to get a little more of a lead here. Weapon throw to break up the pressure. What can Mevv do? He's trying to grab Flamethrower out of the sky, bring him back to the ground, but that nair will send him into the air. Oh, it's so like, close.
Look at the spacing that Flamethrower occupies too when he has that bow. He just like, it's D-Light spacing, like max dash D-Light spacing, and then you can see Lil Mevv trying to like jump around it to see if he can get through it, but it's been tough.
Okay, we're at that stage of the game where I feel like Flamethrower is just going to randomly hit a sig. But which one is it going to be? Side sig?
That recovery comes pretty handy.
The down sig could be pretty good here in center.
But if he gets spot dodged on, he might lose.
D-Light Nair is actually just enough. I didn't think it was. But he has the force to do it. A very methodical game where I felt like Flamethrower was in control, just barely, the entire time.
Yeah, I feel similarly. Barely.
494 bow damage.
Yeah, you ain't really on them Katars, bro.
That was the 43 Qatar damage in that knockout right there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Recovery comes through. There's the D-Light in air. Man.
Okay, so we're going to the Fortress of Lions here. And it's interesting because there's different kinds of Val gameplay, right? Like Mevv here is clearly leaning more into the sword, I think, than the gauntlets. We haven't seen much in terms of trying to force Flamethrower off stage with those gauntlets and go for like a quick early KO or anything like that. Mainly it's been like, I'll do this forever.
I mean, Mevv was right to do it because he had a damage lead, but that was funny. If you juggle weapons like that forever, a weapon spawn will just not appear.
Exactly.
And so you have to stop it. And Flamethrower not only was like, I don't want to do that, but then when he tried, he lost the stock. That's kind of burn. That's tough.
That was like pretty much, I won't say perfectly played, but close to it in terms of like what you can do when you have advantage.
It's funny when you see it, because I sometimes go like, oh yeah, I guess you can just do that. Down to comes through. What most players are usually willing to do is they'll do the juggle for a little bit, and then they'll throw one weapon up really hard, and then try to like do a thing where you like neutralite, they get bonked in the head, and then neutralite again or something.
Yeah. And the tough part is too is that like it's not like an infallible strategy, right? It's like when like she's like poorly Shino style. It's like there is a moment in the throwing and the catching where you can just hit the person and then they drop it, right? And so like there's a reason people usually don't try to do it forever because usually they just get hit at some point and lose advantage.
Oh, neutralite and the recovery hits. Flamethrower brought it back despite that devastating opening there. Mevv tried to slow down the pace of the game, and Flamethrower's brought it right back to the pace that he likes to play at. Let's see what he can do. Falls with an air, dashes all the way through, weapon throw, pick up into nothing so far. Sidelights aren't really leading the recoveries, they're not really leading the nairs, and so Flamethrower has been holding on.
Ooh, wow, sneaks the landing there. Trying to catch Flamethrower.
Oh, what was that supposed to be?
Sig. Yeah, I wasn't even sure which one.
I think it may have been side sig.
Side sig. I know side sig, he hops into it, he puts the knee up.
Oh,
I just don't know if I got to see it or not.
Oh, then it was probably down. No. I don't know. Who knows? Downlight cuts him out of the neutral signature. D-Light recovery. Not going to be enough to knock out, but the next one will. Can he get it? Guitar players are usually really good at hitting this recovery on the way back down from the landing, but no.
Press it. Oh, and now a little bit later, he gets stuffed for it. That kind of stinks. I feel like he was going like a little extra layer of the mind game there when he might have been able to just like.
And then Mevv just like came back to the stage and hit him.
Yeah, it's like if he just pulled the trigger earlier, I think he might have gotten stock.
Bow picked up. What's it going to be? Easy at a range where D-Light Nair will knock out yet. Nair comes through. Now he is, probably. Oh, Flamethrower really biding his time. Weapon spawn comes through, puts up the down signature. He's used that a few times, actually, where like he puts himself in between his opponent and the weapon. Looks like he's going to go back to pick up the weapon, but he actually does a pivot down signature, and it catches them trying to duck underneath. And it worked against his last opponent, and it's worked against Mevv now. Still a small lead for Mevv.
Yeah, just barely. I mean, you can feel the pace of these games have been getting slower and slower as kind of the set goes on here. As I feel like these players are really respecting each other a lot in terms of their abilities and what they think they can get punished by, and it's leading to a little bit slower paced game where, you know, Flamethrower especially has been especially patient waiting for these openings, but Mevv responding quite well here. I think might be able to get this game if he can just get the read. Goes for the end sig. It's not going to be, I think it was just like a cheesy, you're not going to expect this kind of sig, and just wasn't the right one.
Yeah, Mevv has really brought this to a point where he's kind of like, all right. Once that weapon starve happened, I went, I see. This is how we're going to play it, isn't it? Gets the down air, takes Flamethrower off the bottom of the stage. And now, if I'm Flamethrower, where do I want to go? There was a few stocks that game that actually just didn't knock out from the sheer size of the ceiling of that stage. And he did knock out he did take out Apocalypse and Fortress of Lions right away, actually.
Yeah. Huh. And we're sticking with the Val too, which is fine, I think. I mean, I think these games are close enough that I'm not like, you know, you should try one of your other characters. But Air Temple is going to be our scenery of choice.
Much lower ceiling than the previous one. And I think if Flamethrower is going to do anything with Lil Mevv, it's just to be able to take him to stages where the knockouts will happen a little bit sooner. There is a struggle coming out from Flamethrower's playstyle with how Mevv has been, like we talked about, it's hard to sugarcoat it. He's been slowing down the pace of the game dramatically.
Yes.
And that was something that we saw earlier on, I think, for the qualifier in the winner's top 8 to get into winner's side of top 8, right? It was just like one of those things where, like, once he lost a game, he was kind of like, okay, I'm going to annoy my opponent as much as possible.
Yes, exactly.
And it has worked. But Flamethrower seems to have, after that game, finished being annoyed.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a down sig. I thought it was going to be a reverse pivot down sig right there. For some reason, I just felt it in my bones.
N-sig doesn't hit. Gets the nair. Mevv at a deficit still. What can he get started here? Down to catches him. No.
Ooh, wow, I can't believe that N-light
like
was
the
able to
back swing of it, like literally behind his back, got pulled into the move.
But I also thought we were going to see a bow nair there, you know? So it was like, because that definitely would have gotten priority. You know?
Yeah. It just ended up not coming out. I don't know what it was. Nair hits. Needs a few more of those, man. Kuma tanky. There we go. D-light and lights. That's how we're knocking out here in game number 3. Flamethrower sticks to the bow, doesn't want to be on those guitars for too long, and Mevv looking for a weapon coming through. I think gauntlets are up next, right? Yep, there they are. Recovery hits, double recovery, tries to catch a fast fall, doesn't hit it. Sizing hits. That just barely does knock out with the addition of the weapon throw, catching that wake-up dive kick. I know it's good distance, but guess what? You can't dodge during the move. So you end up just getting hit by a weapon a lot of the times if you're not watching and being careful.
Oh, man. And this. Oh, nice extension. I love that we're seeing that a lot more now. I felt like that used to be like
seeing
Java's thing.
What in specific?
Just like D-like ground pound on sword as like the maximum punish into
what makes it Java specific is that it usually happened off of some like weapon throw pickup.
Yes.
and then it ends up happening. That was a very fast stock from Mevv, all things considered. Takes Flamethrower right off the top right away. And now I can see Mevv just being like, oh, I've got a whole stock to play with. Let's see what he does with this. He's actually going off stage here with the gauntlets. Another nair. Goes for the cider as well. Okay, Flamethrower gets up with that recovery. Nair comes through. It's all edge guard coming out here, and Flamethrower does get the dive kick, and that's Mevv throwing that stock away a little early.
Because it's like getting the recovery stuffed is all it takes there. You know,
against gauntlets?
That's all it takes against gauntlets.
Yeah, because you've got crazy good horizontal recovery, but if your recovery gets stuffed, the exhausted recovery goes like nowhere.
You're like, I got 2 jumps and I can't make it. You know, it's really devastating.
So Flamethrower brings it back after the offstage, winning an unarmed versus gauntlets battle.
Which is
pretty hard to do.
Yeah. Most people opt not to go that route, but if you're brave enough.
Or sometimes just forced to, really. Flamethrower was just kind of put off stage by how many gauntlet nairs that Mevv hit. And now we're in a very, very close situation here. Only nairs and lights coming through. D-Light Cider finally catches Flamethrower. Can Mevv get the recovery? He does! Ooh. Very end of the move. And the neutral stick connects.
Not enough.
Oh, but there's so much that will be now that that's hit.
N-sig again. Oh, that ground pound.
I can't believe it's right on top of him. That D-Light side air, though, won't have the force that he needs. Mevv will go for the edge guard again. Picks up the bow that he covers his head with. Gravity cancel D-Light just to slide onto stage, and the recovery will take him down. Mevv now 1 game away from top 4 over Flamethrower here. Okay. And that was Flamethrower bringing out, he's banning all the single plats to be able to get him towards that stage, and Mevv actually played on Western Temple quite well.
Yeah, I think he played phenomenal.
And he's going right back to it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, if it was left open and the last game looked like this, why wouldn't I go back here? You know?
Yeah, because this was a game that was only close in numbers because I think Mevv really went overboard on how aggressive that edgeguard was on that second stock. Like, I was actually really surprised. I thought from what I was watching, Mevv was going to be like, a whole stock lead. I'm going to slow down the pace of this game even more. And then he was just like, I'm only going to edgeguard until my stock is gone. And it ended up getting him a lot of damage, and he still got the win.
Yeah, it's like because I think at some point I was kind of saying like we didn't see much of that from Mevv before in terms of just like off-stage gauntlet play, and so I think it was one of those, you're not going to expect me to do this because up until this point I haven't been playing like this off-stage, so I should just get you. Sometimes it feels like you just get one because of that. But
and then we also know that Flamethrower has kind of been relying on all of his damage buildup to be on the bow so far, so seeing him on guitars here makes me think that Mevv's got a lot of confidence in approaching, which it seems like he does. One falling nair is not going to be a lot coming up from the guitars there. Neutral stick whiffs, but the falling nair afterwards, that's what makes that move so good. We were talking about it before, like with the Arcadia N-sig. Val N-sig is just kind of like, you missed. Well, you don't have to have the animation, and now you get a nair on the way down. Put to the down sig. It's like a move that you see once a year.
Yeah, it does like a pretty solid amount of damage, but KO potential is like non-existent there on that one, but it looks cool.
Wow. I think it got like buffed recently to get like 2 extra damage or something.
He just ran into it. He just ran into it.
Flamethrower has been really good at those cross-up reads where he's like, for some reason, I think that you're going to try to dash through me. and he does it with the bow down signature and also the guitar signature for on Ember's kit. It does it so well. Double D-Light and recovery. Okay, Flamethrower, we're moving. We're using the platforms that are also moving from time to time.
Flamethrower, like, give me that game 5, boy. Boy, he moving. But
he's looking for it.
Jeez, again.
Goes to the recovery, and then
nice response.
recovery pickup Nair coming out from Mevv there was actually quite nice. And he does pick up the gauntlets. I think, yeah, so we're just primed here. Goes for weapon throw, neutral like, ground pound. Both players are getting scrappier as the set goes on, I'm realizing. Like guitar ground pound through the platform.
Yeah, I know. What an option. Oh, okay. And the read again.
Air down sig.
And that's a good one. Normally you see that on like Queen Eye.
Yeah, it's really good because I'm realizing the most common follow-up there is guitar neutral light. Or side lights, whatever the case is. And the down tick gets you that extra bit of time to be able to catch a lot of dodges if they were even going for it in the first place, or just catch your opponent off guard and thinking that a string was about to happen. Flamethrower now one stock away from this game 5, and it looks like he's going to make it happen. Double recovery though, Mevv trying to make it close.
Yeah, almost manages to do it there, but not enough juice. Especially not with we got like 4 attack Val here, so.
Yeah, 4 attack Val. High defense coming through. Sword picked up, D-Light recovery, catching that recovery. Flamethrower, we're going a little too high. And now Mevv, this might as well be an even game between these two players. Let's see who's going to have it. Is Mevv going to take the 3-1? Or is Flamethrower bringing it to game 5 to see who gets in the top 4 here at the Championship? Sideline away.
Guitar's back in hand here. Guitar down, Sig. Gap, like for one more hit.
Oh,
like, around
Flamethrower waited and Mevv just woke up dared. Yeah, I think you're right, Flambo. I think guitar down sig is coming in. Yeah.
Might throw out the N6 for good luck, but it won't KO on the stage.
What's it gonna do? Okay, Nair to gravity cancel end light. That's good damage. Flamethrower recovering away. One downer comes through. Oh, I can feel it. He wants to. Yeah, there's the down sig, but it was on the wrong weapon. Oh, he's trying to slide charge down sig too. What is he doing? Flamethrower, you gotta stop that. Mevv's ready for it.
Oh no, he's trying so hard to like not throw. You can see he's like, I was playing with the lead for this entire game. I just need to close it out. Press KO button now.
Oh, he did it 4 times in a row. Oh, Mevv gets the neutral light.
Oh, Mevv looks like he's gonna clutch.
Neutral light again. He's catching all these landings.
Yeah,
Flamethrower. He goes to the gravity cancel side to get the D-Light recovery. Doesn't knock out. Oh, it's anyone's game now though. I feel like that's it.
Flamethrower got too desperate. Flamethrower got too desperate.
There was like 4 signatures that he tried to slide charge pit off the same platform over and over and over again, and then Mevv was just kind of like, nah, you're not gonna do that to me. And then Flamethrower, I really like. There was just he was just paralyzed. He didn't know what to do after that.
Yeah.
He just was like, what? He got neutral lighted 3 times, then 2 D-Light recoveries caught him flying in the air.